Hello and welcome to Open Mic UK. I'm here with my co-host Susie and our special guest Paul Bannister. Paul, third time is a charm. Glad to have you on the show. Sorry, we had a couple of mix-ups along the way.
We did, but I'm really happy to be here, and it's so lovely to be here with your guest, your guests as well.
I'm happy you're on. So, first of all, we do apologize. Kathy was supposed to be with us today also, but unfortunately she wasn't able to get on today. So she'll be here in spirit. Hey, Kaylee, welcome to the show. If you have any questions, please to ask Paul, please go ahead. And while we're waiting to see if anybody has any questions, let's talk about you. So you started to do this a while now. It's been, well, a lot of years, let's say.
Yeah. So are we talking mediumship or podcasts?
Mediumship.
We are. So pretty much. Well, I didn't realize I was a medium as a child. You don't, do you? You just you assume that everyone's the same or having the same experiences that you are. So I grew up living next door to somebody who was a trance medium. And her son was my best friend. So by default, we got to experience some of the phenomena that was in the house. So I just assumed it was because I was around that energy and that atmosphere.
And then how did it develop?
So yeah, but I then, as you do, you grow up, you're looking for work, and you get the mortgage, you try to settle down. Every house that we moved into was always haunted. Until one, I just felt, do you know what? It's because, we're just a little bit unlucky. Until I went to a medium and said, look, can you come and clear our house? Because it's really quite bad. And she said, and she was, I don't know if you guys know of Doris Stokes.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
She's an amazing lady. She was very much like an old Doris Stokes. And she said, oh, lovey, in her London accent. No, she said, they want to work with you. Which was a total shock. It was a total shock. But that kicked off in my late 20s, early 30s. And I'd just been recovering from... I had a brain tumor that had to be operated on. And I touch wood, I was very lucky. It's never grown back. But the actual tumor had crystallized. So I here by the grace of God go I. Yeah.
Wow. So after that, that's a big event in your life. Clearly, it's kind of one of those kind of, points along the way where you might change direction afterwards. Was there a particular kind of peak experience that led to you just going for it?
Gosh, there were so many key markers in my life. I mean, after recovering from the brain tumor, and I literally walked into there's a hospital in the UK. It's a very large hospital, Addenbrooke's in Cambridgeshire, and they specialised on head surgery. And I was told that I wouldn't particularly recover very well, when I'd have a lot of long-term problems. And I just remember praying. And I just remember having that relationship with God for the first time in my life. And then after the operation, I was told I'd be in intensive care for at least 3 or 4 months while they tried to sort out my, problems or what I needed. But I came off the operation straight into the ward. And all I remember was this Australian surgeon, the registrar, saying to me, well, that was amazing, he said. And to be honest, I don't know if you can see my scar. Well, I've got a large scar at the back there. I wasn't feeling amazing, but yeah, I didn't lose my voice. I could, talk. I could, because of the particular part of the brain, it was at the back. I could still walk as well. Although I had to rebalance and learn to rebalance and learn to walk again. It changes your philosophy and your perspective on life hugely. And I remember then going on, you know, buying a beautiful home, having a great job. And I remember saying in the show, and it was a key marker for me, and it makes me quite emotional. I remember saying, I want to give something back.
Wow.
And I just had the sense of there was always something else. There's always been a creator for me, something that I didn't truly understand, because we go through life, we pay the bills, we try to go through life. We don't necessarily come into any kind of spirituality unless we have those markers in our life where these things happen. And for me, it was a defining moment. Growing up with a trance medium was a little interesting, especially when we was in our late teens. And Pam, hi Pam, if you're listening, she used to say to John and I, "Oh boys, do you mind if I can use you for practice?" And her guide would come through and talk about spirit world. So in a funny sort of way, I'd had a bit of an education anyway, but I didn't realize I would become the medium. So, but then after that, it took me quite a few years to get my head around, is this really me? Is this my imagination? But, you know, after, gosh, we're going back 20 years now. Once you embrace it and just go, do you know what? Okay, do what you need to do. It then really came through for me, started to work really well. So yeah, I'm kind of listening. Once you open yourself and give yourself, okay, I'm ready. You have to go. The only problem, the little caveat with that, it does change your life quite profoundly. So if anybody that wants to become a medium, look out for that. There's going to be a lot of changes.
Yeah, it is for that. We've experienced that ourselves too firsthand. It's like that point of like no return.
Yeah, absolutely.
when you decide, and as you said, but I think it really does enhance your whole life experience. That's my experience anyway.
Yeah. So it's very you know, it's a unique. You know, I kind of hide the fact when I go out to social events, when people go, "What do you do for a living, man?" Salesman. You know, because everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. You spend the whole evening." Sometimes you just want an evening off. So yeah, I was very lucky, and they do say this: you meet the right teacher at the right time. And I was very lucky to meet a gentleman that created the right foundation for me and taught me a lot. And his name, can I give him a plug? He's still working.
Yeah.
He'll tell me off for saying this. He's almost 80, but his name is Paul Ambillion, and he's got a lot of books published. Auras and Colors is definitely worth a read. So yeah.
Can you put that in as a at the bottom, Ramzi, the name of the book maybe, and the guy's name?
Yeah, Paul Ambillion. So it's LAMB billion, Lamb billion, as in one day I'll make a million or billion. Who knows?
It's a great name, actually, Lamb Billion. Like, I'm sure if you just did a lowercase L, it looks like I am billion.
Yeah, absolutely. Positive manifestation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
LAMBILLION.
Yeah, that's the one. I've got his book here, one of his books here, if you can see that. It's a great on Amazon, and I read that over 20 years ago, and I was very lucky to have an assessment with Paul, and he lived in my community, which was even more lovely. So I was able to attend a lot of workshops and courses, and the best advice he ever gave me was to go and do a healing course to understand how energy works. And that was a real education. I still do healing now, but I would say mediumship is more to the fore, so to speak. I do a lot of demonstrations, a lot of public demonstrations too.
But it is ultimately a very healing experience between the medium and the sitter, and, you know, obviously the spirit coming through. Like, I always just see that we're just like that kind of, you know, messenger, and but then you're also able to witness something. You know, there's an opportunity that happens that can't happen without you being there as the medium, you know?
Yeah. I do feel like I've got the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Because I get to hear. So, and that wasn't straight away. I get voices, and that really opened up about 4 or 5 years ago. And I get I see a lot of I first off, for me, I was very clairvoyant, and as time I went on developing, I just developed everything, every aspect of what they call the Claire skill set, the Claire toolbox. So, and Claire audience was one of the last to come in. So, but I love that, the whispers, I call it whispers from heaven. It's beautiful. Yeah, and I feel in a very privileged position to hear loved ones. And what I find a lot, especially certain phrases that they used to say to their loved ones, like "I love you, darling." Now, not everyone says that from mother to child, but it's those little phrases that they held special. There was one yesterday. I had a reading, and grandfather came through, and he straight away said, "You're going to have to sing for me." Oh, God, there we go. And he used to sing to his granddaughter, "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer D." And he used to bob her up on the knee, and straight away, this poor woman, she's in tears. She remembers it. That's the beauty. That's what I love about spirit, that pure communication. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that healing and mediumship, I find them to be one in a way that it actually relieves a lot of stress on the living people. Because I find that they have unfinished business with the deceased, and it kind of gives a closure at that time when we do that mediumship session.
Yeah, absolutely. Healing, and again, that was the first, and I would recommend this if anybody wants to develop as a medium or developing their mediumship ability. Healing, I would certainly ask or suggest to people that understanding healing and how that works will certainly help you with your mediumship, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's nice to hear that it came through in phases, being somewhat new to all of this. It's a good to hear from someone professionally that it did. Yeah, coming in chunks. Because some people believe that it's a switch. You turn it on and it's at 100 clicks an hour. But the reality is, it comes in pieces. You start to walk first. You crawl, then you walk, then you run.
Absolutely. And don't forget, now some people, and see, I think mediumship is a natural process, but what you battle in yourself. You battle your subconscious, your programming, what you've been told as a child, what the school told you, what your belief system has told you. And it takes time to break that down. And the more you accept to break down and be open, the more you're open to spirit, the more it will give you. But so I think mediumship is there already for everybody. But it's how we come to it. Like, for example, my clairvoyance started internally. I would see pictures in my mind, and then I noticed after 3 or 4 years, it was external, and it was making me jump. So it was, but it was a projection. It was a projection from inside to outside. And again, somebody else was talking about this the other day, and it was exactly what happened to me. But I think that comes literally from me growing up in a very working class family. My father was an electrician. My mother was a secretary for the director of the company, and there was no real religious programming as such or any spirituality within the family, just a very hard working class family. So I had to battle a little bit of my own programming about, my father would be very cynical. How do you know it's not tricks of the mind? How do you, and do you know what? It's good to have that, because sometimes we can go too far. I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Robert Gilbert from the Visica Institute in California, and some of his podcasts and information out there, you see him on Guy TV. They're absolutely true. And he was talking about the human psyche and about sometimes, can you imagine where we'd be if we was totally aware of everything around us psychologically? You know, they talk about
Yeah.
people that have had nervous breakdowns, and these are people that have had spiritual awakenings that have gone wrong slightly, and they start seeing all sorts of wonderful things all around them, and it really affects them psychologically. So again, I bring it back to the psychological side. There's a lot of mind involved in mediumship, and if we can battle and just let go of that, then you develop, and I think you open, and the more you open, the more the subconscious will give you.
Yeah, I think it really is a journey. Like you said, if it all came at once, you'd go a bit gaga. Like, so I think with a really good teacher like you had, or a mentor, somebody to work with, and like you had obviously friends and neighbors where you were as well. And for me personally, I think it's having a really good like a meditation practice is what works, really stabilizes my system, and helps me kind of go through, well, definitely helped me come through to where we are now. I think the amount of resistance, especially because of like what you said, growing up, you know, outside of Doris Stokes on the TV, like, you know, it wouldn't have been the top of your list of things to do in life, you know?
No, absolutely. I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, where parents were still allowed to clip you around the ear, and my school teacher used to throw things at me. So, you know, and if you said a word like "I'm having deja vu," they'd think they'd be calling an ambulance. So yeah, so you kind of have to battle that. Today, the generation coming through now are so. Do I say lucky? They have an advantage in terms of you know, the work that the generation have done before them. They have an opportunity.
Yeah.
But then there's no such thing as a coincidence, because I do believe we're going to a higher vibration.
Absolutely. I think that when you finally kind of find the teacher and you finally make the space and say yes, it just kind of, like you said, you have to really learn to know your own mind, your subconscious mind, how that works. How does it feel when you sit to do the practice, or to, you know, to work with somebody one-to-one? And it's like building a muscle, I think, you know what I mean, and stabilizing your nervous system, you know, just day after day, and then suddenly the evidence is there. Like there's no doing really. It's always there, really. You just
there is, I believe, also a correlation to the when you start to work and become aware of your team in spirit, they will bring different aspects to the fore in you. They will help you to work in different ways. So, and I found in my development, the different guides I've had have helped me on to a different part of my journey. Peter came in around 2017, and I remember, this might sound crazy to some people, but I remember the front, I used to literally feel the front part of my brain glowing white. Couldn't see it, but felt it. But of course, that part of our brain is about communication. So it's quite interesting that I could feel that energy. But that was when I was getting the clairaudience started. And I'll never forget where I was when that moment happened. I suddenly heard this man, and I knew where I was going. I had a message for a lady in the audience. I could see her. But all of a sudden, I heard her father say, "Paul, hello." He said, "We're going to work with you a different way." Well, okay. So I listened. And it was absolutely amazing. I mean, the information he said, now you need to give evidence to my daughter. And he said, my daughter works at a place called Eaton Road. She goes there every day for work. And on the way here, she was talking to her sister called Alison. And I'll never forget that. And the poor lady burst into tears straight away. I knew exactly where I was going, but he told me don't go there straight away, which I found quite interesting. So it was quite a privilege to have that voice and connect to his daughter and the raw emotion that was coming through. I actually remember that specific message because it was so emotional, because on the way to the church to watch my demonstration, the lady, her sister Alison, said to her sister, "Why do you keep going to these mediums? You never get a message." And then she said, because she told me this afterwards, Then she said, do you think Dad knows about Mum? Now, when I was delivering my message, that the gentleman said, can you tell my daughter that Mum is here nagging me already? Right, and
Wow.
at that point, she burst out into tears and ran away down to the toilet. But she came back afterwards, and after I'd finished the service, and she explained that on the way to the church, her sister had said, why do you bother with these mediums? She said, Dad never comes through. And then she said, do you think Dad knows about Mum? Now, Mum was seriously ill in hospital. She was about 7 stone, suffering from dementia. So when Dad came through and said, listen, she's here already nagging me, it was exactly what they needed. And that was beautiful. So that was my first experience of clairaudience. And it was just, when it comes in like that, it's amazing. Like I had it last night, and this gentleman was coming through for this lovely lady sitting on my couch. A lot of people come in and sit in my office here. I'm very blessed to have my own office at home in the garden.
Nice.
And this lady came, was sitting on the couch, and her father came in, and he said, now listen here, he said, you tell her from me, if she doesn't understand who I'm getting, I'm going to come into her bedroom tonight and tickle her feet, because her feet are so sensitive. And she's like, oh my God, how do you know my feet are ticklish? So funny. Because your dad's telling me. So I mean, it's nice when that happens. It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you'll just get a phrase. You know, I wish it was like a telephone from the spirit world, but it doesn't work that way.
But I was astonished by the number of messages from my relatives that you brought in. It was like you were sitting with 5, 6 of them talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is something that I haven't developed yet. It's not there. I don't hear them. But the way you brought in the messages were phenomenal. I was floored. I called Susie and Kathy afterwards. By the way, Paul is coming, but he's phenomenal. This is what he did.
See, I always find it slightly harder on Zoom than what I do in person. So I mean, I'm glad you had a good experience, because I always think, because I'm quite competitive, or maybe that's my drive. So I used to be a football coach, and I'm quite competitive. So I want to be the best that I can be, because there's a part of me, because of my upbringing with my father being so down to earth, working class, that I really want to prove to people that this stuff is real. This isn't a part of our imagination. Life continues.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very much proving that life exists beyond the physical realm.
Yeah.
For me, it's a beautiful thing. Where, you know, when you feel love, and I've had an out of body experience where I've felt that love. So I am blessed. But with that, I can say, coming back to your point, Ramzi, I think it's really important for people to know. So when I get messages and I become aware of 4 or 5 people around me, there's a couple of things on this. First of all, you've got to be careful that you don't end up giving bits and pieces from people here. Now, you can, and I have done it, and I can do it, but I have to stop and go, okay, guys, come on, sort this out. One at a time. Someone be a spokesperson, so I understand. So you try to then connect the thread, so you then get the right message. Because there's one thing proving the evidence of who you've got with you, but then you've got to have the conversation. What are they saying? Give them the opportunity. And sometimes when you become aware of lots of people, it's just a question of talking to them like you would talk to yourself. And it's something that I've only recently discovered. I've been getting some coaching as well from a gentleman that was part of the National Spiritualist National Union, going back in the day when Gordon Higginson was the president. So I've been very honored to receive some coaching from him. And he said something to me which is really interesting, and I will share, because I believe that we should all be able to give a good message, because the more, or the better we become, the more people buy into this, the more people understand that there is more to this life and this reality. But he said to me, don't forget to talk to them. Of course. So I'm very much, we're very much loose of, yes, I'm here, I'm the vessel, I'm very open. I'm free. But okay, if you're being too free, you're not communicating back. So talk to them. And I did a demonstration at North Walsham, which is North Norfolk, if anyone wants to know, in the UK. And it was this year. And I remember saying, look, guys, can I have your name first? I mean, what a wonderful world that would be. So I thought, they come in, yes, my name is John Smith. I lived at Albert Street and I lived this life here. I mean, you do have to be careful that you're not making it too clinical.
Yeah.
The first 3 contacts that came in gave me their name, how they passed straight away.
Yeah.
I've got a dad here telling me his name is John. He was rushed to hospital, but it was quick for him. Ladies, yeah, that's my dad. And I had and then I got to the 4th one, and I had 90 people all looking at me, and there's a lot of pressure there, guys, and they're all looking at you going, come on, is it for me? Is it for me? I want a message. And then I was aware of this gentleman coming into my energy, but he wasn't talking to me. He was just giving me bits and pieces of energy. Now, I recognize that now with experience that's someone with Alzheimer's or dementia has just passed. And this gentleman has only just passed. So I said back to him, come on, look, no one here in this audience understands this information. I need more. And he said, I used to live at Water Lane. So I said, I used to live at Water Lane, he's telling me. And this lady's like, oh my God, it's my lovely neighbor that I was very close to. And we live in Water Lane. So that's beautiful when that happens. Yeah. So, and it also doesn't make me look so stupid when you're up there in front of people and you don't get it right, because you've got to be human as well. We get it wrong.
Absolutely.
It's 100% mediumship. So, guys, I might sound like this guy's wonderful. Oh, I've had my bad days. I'm telling you, I've had times, where I've died on my feet and demonstrating because it's just not working. And that could be for 100 different reasons. So, guys, please be kind to yourself if you're a developing medium.
Yeah, it's a good point that you brought up, because I had this couple of times, and couple of times I don't want to, like, it sounds okay. It's with an Asian person, and for some reason I cannot give a correct message. I can do a psychic with them, but I cannot do a mediumship. I can't pass messages on. Okay. And I gave them wrong messages, and they said, no, that's not my mother, or that's not my father. And I was like, okay. I said, fine, that's fine. There's nothing there. Here, I can give you this message, these messages about your current life. But that portion of the mediumship was completely blocked that day.
Okay, right. First thing I want to say on that. Now, I've given lots of evidence and messages to people, and I would always say to them, look, if you don't understand, it's absolutely fine. But if you go away and the penny drops, can you just drop me a line? Okay. Yeah. Now it comes back. Like a lady the other day, I said, look, as she was walking out of dear, I said, I'm just aware of a young lady here called Jackie that wants to communicate. She went, no, love, no, not for me. She went down the road. She messaged me the next day. I'm so sorry. She said, when I was at school, my best friend died. Her name was Jackie.
Wow. So there you go.
So even when you get a message from yourself, remember it's from their perspective, not the person sitting.
Yeah.
So you might have perceived it. So this is where the confusion gets. You might have perceived it slightly wrong, and they would never have said that because their perception of that would have been different to yours anyway. So always say to people, look, remember, this is their perception or perspective, not yours. Okay, so try to think out of the box, and it really helps. Someone's put on there, I think that's what.
Yeah, we have 2 actually, so we'll get to the second one.
Okay.
He's asking for a reading, so we'll get to him. But Kaylee was saying, I think that's what terrifies me half the time, is working with teachers or not, that risk of being wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have done some howlers. And my guide said to me once, do you know what, Paul? What we like about you is you're brave enough to stand up and get it wrong. Because in getting it wrong, you're getting it right, because you're learning where you've gone wrong. And one of the biggest things, whether you're working at home or whether you're in circle or whether you're demonstrating to 60, 50 people, it matters not. Don't be hard on yourself. Get it wrong, because you'll get it right. And I always use the analogy of, do you remember as a kid when, if you lived in the country, you used to cut across the cornfield? Yeah. I hope there's no farmers listening, because I'm in trouble. Now, I used to cut across the middle and make a little path. Now, after a while, that path got bigger. I'm sure the farmer used to swear about me, but I was a little bit lazy. So, and it's the same with your subconscious. The more you work that psychic muscle, the more it will open. Okay.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. Yeah. So don't.
Can I ask you a question there as well, Paul?
Cool.
I've only ever worked actually online. I've never I've done some stuff more psychic related, I suppose, in person, when I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing, but I was getting messages and passing them on when I'm sitting with somebody or whatever. That's way back early on. But when you talk about like being on stage, like with 90 people or 60 people looking up at you, it must feel completely different. And I'm wondering, is there, like, energetically, do you feel a real surge of energy like that carries? Because it's a lot. I can't even imagine it.
So first of all, it's horror and terror, right?
Okay.
And then it's like, forgive me for saying this, I'm very sensitive. I'm a Virgo. And Virgos suffer with their stomach and lower intestines by default. So I'm very sensitive around that area, and I always have been. I was always aware of energies around me as a child, very much clairsentient as well. So I can't really say it, but you get the gist. I get really nervous. Okay. So that's a thing. And then once I start working, I pretty much ask everybody to come in, support me, and be around me, and that's important as well, to be of service to God. And the reason why I'm looking down, I'm going to show you a couple of photos of demonstrations that I've done recently to give you the sense of that my son, we sometimes put them on to Facebook to thank people. The North Walsham demonstration was a charity evening. I'm just looking for that right now. We did one. I remember in January, I said to Adam, I think it was February actually. We was going to a little place in Norfolk called Watton. And I said, oh, Adam, it's so cold. I'm really hoping there's only about 20 people there. It'll be a nice, calm night. It'll be nice and quiet. I can relax and we can have some fun. There was 132 people there.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, this isn't going down too well. This gives you an idea once I can find the pictures, but there is a sense of horror. Well, this was North Walsham. Now, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it gives you an idea of the size of the hall. That was me down there. I wasn't on the stage because I like to walk in front of people as long as, and I'm quite loud and I've got a powerful voice because of my football coaching. So this was another local one at the local charity night at a football club. I mean, so, oh gosh, I've done a lot this year. This was the one at Watton, even though it doesn't look like it because of the setup. There was 132 people there.
Wow.
And we start around 7:30. We break at 8:30. And then we have 20 minutes. Then we go back in for another hour. You are expected to work 2 hours solid. Okay, so but demonstrating, I know mediums that only demonstrate and don't like doing one-to-one sittings. I know other mediums that only do sittings rather than demonstrating. I know afterwards it's a bit like being on cloud 9. If it goes well, it's amazing. You feel so good and you're so thankful. But then you go back into making sure that you're developing and still sitting and still working with spirit. And investing in your time to not just to help others, but you must invest in time to help yourself and develop yourself. That's really important.
Do you have like a self-care ritual, Paul, that you stick to, in preparation for an event like that, or something you do afterwards?
What a great question, because I could go on about this for ages, because I've been looking at this as a model across spiritualism, mediumship. I know some of the old-fashioned mediums would have, you know, proper roast dinner, a pint of beer, and then go and do what? And then other mediums, they will not eat properly. They'll just eat a little lightly and then eat when they're finished, like 11 o'clock at night, which is not good for your health. Potentially for me, I drink water, although because I'm really bad, I drink a lot of tea. I'm not particularly an alcoholic kind of person. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I'll have the odd beer, maybe to celebrate, maybe two, push it out, push the boat out, but never before I work, ever. And I try not to eat meat for a couple of days before I do a demonstration, because the meat tends to take a longer time to break down in your body. I've tried giving up meat. I really have. But I kind of need some help with that. I really want to give that up, but I'm not eating the right foods properly, because I do tend to get the shakes. I'm not diabetic, but you know you better than anybody else. So it's trying to manage that. Another thing which is really good to raise your vibration. I know this is going to sound crazy. There's a whole ideas out there, and this was, I can't remember the university in Japan. They did a study on giving grace to your food.
Yeah.
So before you eat that food, if it's meat, give grace, give prayer to that the meat that gave their life for its sustenance. You know, give that love and kindness to the animal kingdom. That helps raise the vibration. They actually measured it. I know it sounds strange. They measured it, and it did raise the vibration of food. Okay, so I'm not crazy. This stuff is real, you know. It's a bit like water. When they froze water, have you ever seen that, where they froze the water and they put the names underneath, or the words underneath the it was just amazing.
Yeah, the intention just carries such a clear vibration.
Yeah.
We do that. Like I teach and I work with Ayurveda as well. It's a consciousness-based system of healing, and really it's all about placing that intention within the food, and you know, almost informing your body, like how you're going to, you know, process it and metabolize it, and you know, get the energy you need. So it's like becoming conscious across all of the daily routines that you get up to, you know, from washing to eating to exercising, you know, really taking care of the vessel that contains the spirit. I see it, it's like a sacred, you know, there's a sanctity in here, you know,
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And so I'm kind of doing it in the right way, but an uneducated way. But I'm kind of getting there. Again, it comes from a lot of years of working with people, picking bits and pieces up, but trying to find what works for you is really important. The other thing which is really good, if you're demonstrating or if you're working or going in circle, make sure you develop a system. You know, we all have our problems. We all have our woes. Okay. I remember the first demonstration I did. I turned up and the medium said to me, she said, you make sure you put all that rubbish, she didn't say it in those words, you put all that stuff you bring through that door, you lock that away and you work with spirit. And it was interesting. And I created this idea of a safe. And I put all my worries in this Swiss vault somewhere in Switzerland, bang it away until I'm ready to become Paul again after the demonstration. I think it's really, really important. Really important. So
go ahead.
Sorry, Ramzi, I interrupted you. Go on.
No, because you're using an exercise that was given by the Monroe Institute while they're doing the Hensing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're supposed to create a heavy steel box where you put all your worries and everything you're thinking about. You can't even lift it because how heavy it is, and then you shut it off, and then you go into your meditation with the sounds. It's interesting. You're using the same thing.
Yeah. I just I stumbled across that with my team, and I said, how am I going to put that aside? So I brought my children up on my own. I've had some pretty difficult times in my life, And then I've also had to demonstrate. And I never forget, I was going to a demonstration with another medium, and I was meeting the medium at the demonstration, and my son was really upset, and he was having a go at me because of his frustration. And we pulled up outside the church, the demonstration. We went in. There was about 120 people in the audience, and my son, it doesn't understand. And he walked in, he went, "Oh, Dad, I'm so sorry." He realized. But it's okay, because I developed this. I mean, it was just so stressed. He was at college. He was having a bad time at college. Things were getting on top of him. And I love my children. I brought my children up on my own. And so seeing him upset is an upsetting process. It's certainly a challenge, but I have to lock that away. I'm not saying I'm not superhuman. I'm superhuman. I can do that. It takes practice. It really does. But the only thing I would say, if you're calling yourself a medium and you're going into these places and you're working, you have to deliver. There's people have paid to see you, you know, and that's why you have to do all the build up. You're investing in yourself, etc., etc. You've got to get it right for people. You've got to have a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
Did you see the message there, Ramzi, from Daniel Frechette?
Yeah. I'm going to pass it on now. Let's see. I would like to ask Paul what he sees that is positive on my upcoming life in the next 2 to 3 months.
I already picked this up earlier because I did see it coming up in the comments on here. Now, Daniel, the problem is I don't know you. I don't know where you're based or where you're coming in from. The only thing that was coming in from me is you're very intuitive. And I had this real sense of spirituality around you, Daniel, as well. And I heard this voice giving me, God gave you that skill set so you can use that to motivate yourself, to intuitively, I can't get my words out. I'll put my teeth in tonight as well. Intuitively find the right way for you, the right path for you. I know it sounds a bit of a cop-out, but sometimes we should be able to find our own way. We should trust our inner feelings, trust that inner voice when you have difficulties in your life. And I would always say to people, always trust the first thing that comes in, because the second thing that comes in will be coming from your conscious mind. Trust the first thing. Trust your gut. Okay, I hope that helps. It's a shame we can't get him on live. Do you do
No,
that?
but I can shed some light. Daniel is the person that taught me Reiki many years ago, and he is spiritual and on a path. And also, he's you mentioned something. He's in Montreal. You were asking the question. Right now, he's in Montreal, so he was back and forth between here and South America. But yeah, you got it on.
Absolutely.
Oh, here he answered.
You absolutely are. So, but it was quite spiritual in terms of there was a kind of a biblical, godly connection to it, that you have like a higher power working with you. So, it sounds like you're on the right path. Yeah. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I really want to come to Canada. So if you're out in Canada and you want to invite me, I'll get a ticket. Okay. one day. But yeah, and the US as well. I keep being invited out to the US. I've got friends out there. I do quite a lot of work online in the US, and people are so lovely. They're like, Paul, if you're coming to the US, come and stay with us. I love it.
Paul, can I ask you if you I have a couple of people that passed in the last couple of months, more friends than family. And one of them since you've been on, keeps coming into my mind, and I'm just curious, can you pick up on anybody there?
Yeah, there's someone by the window. If you look at your window right now, there's someone standing at the window smiling at me. So I don't know if you can feel that behind you. Do you feel that presence over your right shoulder?
I could feel that there was something going on, and I wouldn't normally ask. So yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, I'm being told I've got a lady here though. The lady that's waving at me, is a lady, not a gentleman. I know it might disappoint you, but I've got a lady here that's coming through, and I've also got her over your left shoulder. Your right shoulder is somebody else, but now I'm picking up more the lady than I am anything else. What's going on here? She feels like a mother figure. I'm sorry to be a bit cliche about this, but I feel like I've got a mother figure here. And as she comes in, though, she's really quite, I don't want to say religious, but devout. She's quite spiritual herself. Okay. Also, all right. She tells me that she had cancer as well. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, because see, this is the problem. When you get mediums go, oh, she's a mother figure. She might not be mum. Okay. She could be
No.
someone very, very much motherly figure around you. And that's why I'd say to people, don't make assumptions. Build that energy and work with it first. I know also she wasn't particularly old when she went into the spirit world. I want to put her middle age as she's coming through. I know she had a problem with her stomach as well, because she showed me her stomach as well. Do you understand this?
I do. I think that's the person that had passed. The last person who passed.
I think it was pancreatic as well, because she's talking about pancreas, or just above the liver in that area. Do you understand this? The other thing is, I don't. This is going to sound strange, but she's lying on your bed behind you, saying how comfortable your bed is. By the way, I know she would have had a lovely sense of humor, and I also know. She's trying to give me connections to a place beginning with D as well, and I can't quite hear it. The D. And again, it could be Donegal, but she's trying to give me this Irish connection to her. Do you understand this? But the D keeps coming up for the place.
Okay, I don't know the D yet, but I'll just make a note of it.
And also, it sounds like Ewan as well. She's trying to talk about Ewan, it sounds like.
Ewan.
And the other thing is, do you keep getting a tickly nose?
I did earlier, yeah. Like when we started first.
Yeah, because she's saying she was tickling your nose. Okay, she's really quite lovely, this lady as well. She's also talking about somebody that was in the Navy, but I think it was more a commercial.
Oh my God.
Do you understand this?
Yeah, I do. Oh my God. Yeah, that was the other person who just passed recently as well.
I got two. The other thing is, if you got a problem with your left knee, love that. You're having to think about it.
I'm feeling my left knee going, no, it's grand.
Okay, I don't know why, but she's making me aware of your left knee was a problem, or is a problem, like a cartilage.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Also, you'd know the Ali or the Alison.
Alison.
Right. Okay. Do you understand the name John as well? The drinker. He was a bit of a drinker. He used to like a drink. The name John.
Yeah.
She's talking about John, but he would be spirit side.
Yeah.
He would be spirit side, because she's telling me he's trying to come through. You've got quite a few there.
I think they're all coming in now that we're opening the gate. It's interesting.
It's like, quick, pause here, get them all in. All right. But there's Alice or Alison. I keep picking up this Alice or Alison as well. I know the name June as well is connecting. I'm also getting November. Yeah, I'm also getting the November birthday that's coming in as well. They want to acknowledge the November birthday. I want to go between the 18th and 19th, they're telling me.
Okay,
because I know it's just after bonfire night. I know it's after Guy Fawkes. They're talking about it.
Okay.
Pardon? I can't work out if it's Wilson or Williamson. They're trying to give me as well.
Williamson.
Oh gosh, and I've got your grandmother here as well, because I've got somebody who keeps coughing in my ear, so I know she would have had a problem with her chest because she's coughing away. Do you understand this? Okay. Also, if I've got the use of the Ewan wrong, they keep trying to give me the initial E for a young man. The initial E.
Okay.
For a young man, it sounds like a Ewan or. The other thing is, I don't think, I know it's an Irish name, a Gaelic name, and I know I wouldn't know it. That's the only way I can pronounce it. I know I've never heard. Also, okay, right. There's okay. It sounds like Marnie, which is quite an unusual name as well. They're trying to give me. I know there's Elizabeth as well. There's so many here trying to pop in. Would you understand on Mum's side? I've got 3 ladies coming in from Mum's side of the family.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
They're all trying to come in now. In Ireland, every 3rd person is called Mary. I do apologise, but I'm also aware of the Mary as well.
Okay.
Do you understand the Mary?
Yeah. Well, everybody has it. There's Mary in everybody's name.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. I do appreciate that. Also, would you understand the English gentleman that came into the family?
Would that be the John? No.
I don't know, but they're talking about the English gentleman that came into the family.
Yeah.
We also know they're talking about the divorce as well. They're being quite personal, by the way. I've got 3 women in my ear. 3 ladies in my ear, all give me the gossip, all give me the information. They're talking about someone just recently moving or looking to move. Okay, because they're packing the boxes, they're putting everything away, and you're moving. I also believe it's the right thing to do. I keep hearing this Eustace or you, and I keep hearing this.
Oh, there's a Eustace. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's in another part of the family, but yeah, that's an unusual name.
It is unusual. There's even more but was that side? It's even more. It's really Gaelic. It's really, really proper Irish. I've never heard that saying before. Proper Irish. Do you know what I mean by Irish? Proper. Home. Proper Irish people. Gaelic and tradition and speaking the language and everything. Also, you don't understand Bobby as well. I've just heard the Bobby. Now, I've got a funny feeling that might be a dog, though.
Bobby.
Oh, and the other thing is there's a Scottish connection into your family as well.
Really? Oh.
Do you understand the Scottish connection into your family? Because I'm also seeing now, this is where it gets a bit confusing. I'm seeing someone with green tartan playing the bagpipes. Now that's Irish.
Yeah.
But I know the Irish played the bagpipes too. Do you understand this?
We do. Yeah, we play like the uilleann pipes. It's similar.
Okay. Because I'm seeing this gentleman coming in with the green tartan playing the bagpipes, and this feels like a grandfather coming in. Does this make any sense? And it's on this side of the family that is proper Irish. That's the only way I can explain it. Proper Gaelic as well. You'd also understand family that went to New York as well, I'm being told.
Yeah, there were definitely family members like that left from that other side, I think. Yeah,
you've got them all coming in. You've got do you understand the young man that went to spirit as well? I've got a young man. He was an adult man, not a child. An adult man that went to spirit, very young. Very young.
In his 20s.
Yes, very young. And he's coming through as well. He's here. I know, but we are going back some time with this. So we are going back quite a lot of time with this. Do you understand this?
Okay. 20 years?
I want at least 20 years. Yeah. Because as he comes in, he's coming in looking like he comes from the 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing is his hair is a certain style of the 90s as well.
Yeah.
And I also know there was a young lady similar age to him that went over a similar time. Do you understand this?
Well, he had a sister who went after him.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's her.
Sorry, my air conditioners just played up and decided to die. That was that funny noise. I thought spirit was interfering. We had this the other night with a friend. I was online to America, and the lights kept flashing both sides. It was really awesome. I do get a lot of phenomenon in this cabin. It's awesome. So we've got loads coming in, loads and loads.
I've written it all down anyway. Thank you so much for that.
That's right.
There's
I
so much
keep-
evidence
keep
there, isn't there?
hearing a gentleman shouting, "Dad, Dad."
Ah,
Why is that turning itself on? Okay, and I keep getting the name Brian that connects to that. The name Brian. I know he was Dad when he passed into spirit. I know he keeps giving me the name Brian that connects to him. What?
Brian.
The other thing, I'm going to say this.
Brian. Yeah.
Are you looking to decorate your I can't work out if it's the hallway or the living room.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
downstairs.
There's been some talk about the colors.
There has.
Someone mentioned green, like an off green or
Yeah. My
okay.
husband had the cheek to suggest green. That's funny.
All I'm going to say is don't do it because they're laughing about it.
Oh, really?
I know you would have been putting him straight.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah, they're very much around you. The other thing is you've got to watch out for going out the front door. There's something loose there that you could fall over or trip over. Okay, because they're talking about that. And if you go out the house tomorrow and trip over, don't blame me. All right, it's not trying to prove their existence, but there is something there. It's a bit loose. Do you understand that?
Could be just that step on the door. I must check it. I'll have a look.
By checking it, you'll trip over. You watch. Don't blame me.
I will not.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks so much.
Lastly, I've got another gentleman coming in here. This is the guy that said he was Dad. I know he was Dad. Now, he might not be your dad, but it'd be someone very close to you. I know he had a heart attack when he went into the spirit world. He went over really, really quick, he's telling me. Okay. Also, he's not been over there that long. I want to say within the last 2 years as well. I also know that he was in and out of hospital, he tells me, and he received a lot of care. Okay, he was quite an elderly man when he passed into spirit. He's given me his late 70s, early 80s. I think it's more late 70s. He takes me there on a number. But as he comes through, he wants to be known to you because I know you know this man. I don't think he's your dad, but he's very close to someone around you. They've lost their dad because he keeps talking about it. Does this make any sense?
There's two possibilities for that, definitely.
The other thing, but I keep being taken over the border, like Northern Ireland rather than Southern Ireland. Does this make sense?
No.
Because I know there's relatives in Northern Ireland because he keeps talking about it.
Yeah, there's a guy in England. Well, that could be just across the border in the UK anyway, just in general, because there's one guy who was in England, and he was in and out of hospital a lot in his 70s, passed probably in the last 12 months, and he was a great guy. And then the other guy, but he wasn't. Oh, he was a father figure for this. He wasn't a dad himself, but he was a father figure for a young boy who was really important to him.
It was important to him because that's the first thing he said. I'm a dad. I'm a dad. I'm a father figure. I'm a dad. So it's the first thing he said. So it's really important. And that's why you have to go back into the evidence and say, right, she's not taking it. Give me some more.
Yeah.
Some more.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you'd understand, though, that he didn't have the easiest. Did you know his history? Because he's talking about his life not always been so easy, being quite difficult and having a difficult journey. And it wasn't until the later part of his life that he found peace. He's also trying to tell you, I know there's people here that still think of him, but he needs to tell people he has found that peace because there was like an inner disturbance in him. He always felt this not being able to settle properly, but he has found that inner peace. I also know he had a lot of faith as well, or has it now for sure, but he had a lot of faith. Would
He
you
was
know the
very,
more?
very spiritual guy. Yeah,
He's
like
talking about
I didn't know his young. I didn't know him younger, but from what I could gather, he definitely didn't have it straightforward either. Like it
yeah.
wasn't always.
The other thing I want to say, he keeps giving me Brian as well. Brian. The other thing is, it sounds like either Myra, not Myra. It might be Myra, but it sounds more like Maureen as well. He's talking about.
Maureen.
Okay. Also, I know someone who used to run a community cafe. He's talking about them. They run a community cafe to help people, and he's so appreciative of that as well. He's seen some really good things happen. I do feel this man was part of a community.
Yeah, that makes sense. He loved going down to the cafe, even though he was quite sick. I think he just loved hanging out there, chatting to people, and he'd chat to people all day.
Yeah, the people were good. The other thing, I've got to say this, and my son will love this. Do you know the Manchester United fan?
Man United fan. Oh my God.
That's not great, is it, with the football?
You're asking now.
He's talking about the Manchester United fan. Problem is, once they get your ear, that's it. They're in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've made some notes. I'll definitely, and people who know him even better than I do.
Oh, this is also, I've got a beautiful Indian lady coming through here now because she's showing me her dress and her outfit. And as she comes in, she is so serene. She's so Ramzi, is this yours?
Mine?
I don't think it's yours, is it?
No, I don't have Indian.
I didn't feel like it was yours. You started laughing. I thought it was for you for a minute. I don't think it's yours.
No.
Do you understand the Indian lady coming through?
I thought she would know somebody that is
There
Indian.
is an Indian lady coming through that connects to you.
There could be. I think she could be connected to the.
She's really spiritual as well, but she was very old school. She had a spirituality, but she was really old school. I know she was Indian as well. She was definitely Indian, and I also feel she was Hindu rather than Sikh. She was Hindu.
Okay.
I also know she was a very spiritual lady. She's talking about her two sons, and I know she connects to you because it's coming in. Sorry, Ramzi. When you started laughing and joking, I thought you were taking that.
No, because I know Suzi went to India before and done all.
Yeah,
these
I've been loads of times.
Oh my God, he's getting all her connections.
Right.
All
Well, she's coming in, and I know. I don't know why she's talking about the petals, but she's talking about something spiritual about the petals, about the flowers. But she's bringing them through for you, and I know her dress goes all the way down to her feet, and it just keeps her like a goldy kind of shimmering to it, almost like not a lace, but it's almost like a silk. It's beautiful, like a cerise, like really, really shimmery. It's beautiful. Do you understand this?
There's two possibilities because the other guy was very connected to the Hindu community in Leicestershire. So he was, I feel like she's connected to him. But I did know another woman who died during COVID in India, but I wouldn't know her that well.
She's bringing you for your own dress, your own Indian attire. She's bringing that through for you. She's measuring you up, putting you in this beautiful dress. And
he brought us to all of those shops when I met him the last time. We went to all the Indian stores for Indian food, like Indian culture. He brought me to all the temples there. So
the yellow, can I just give you this? They keep giving me yellow because yellow is not just about the clothing; it's also about the color. It's really important for you right now. Okay,
yellow was his favorite color.
But also if you're in a situation that you're overthinking it, just feel this yellow, bring it in, it'll bring you balance. Okay.
Okay. That was his color, though. That was something that everybody did when he passed, was have yellow flowers. And
I was just gonna say she was putting yellow flowers around your head, like you do in Hawaii when you arrive off the plane. You know.
Oh yeah.
But she was doing that to you with the yellow flowers. But there's also something about petals as well. I keep hearing that. And yeah, and all right, okay. Do you understand the holy man that connects to all of them? A really old gentleman that's coming in. He's got no shoes on. He's got like a white powdered face as well as he comes in, and he also wants to connect to you because he's giving me this to you. He's tiny but powerful. Does this make sense?
This was the guy's guru, and he used to call him the old man.
Well,
And
it's just come through to you and gone like this, like this. Okay,
wow,
so he's giving you his blessings.
wow, very interesting. Because he's the guy I was thinking the first day that I had a feeling that he might come in through your connection. That's really interesting.
But he came in with different people. They all
Yeah,
piled.
but I've made notes as well of the names that I couldn't get because, like you said, it's information. It's just I can't decipher it. But I know friends of his that know him a lot longer than I do, so I'll definitely pass it on.
Yes, yeah, and he's a lovely man because he comes in very spiritual, and like he's just giving you the whole blessings to you. Yeah, absolutely, a lot of love. The other thing is he's telling me that you lost someone very close to you. Okay, and I don't think I've brought them through properly because he's just told me to tell you that they've arrived and they're okay.
Okay.
And he keeps saying God blessings, but I know this feels like it's a Sai Baba vibration with this as well. Do you understand that?
Sai Baba was who he it was the Sai Baba temple that we went to in Leicester. That's who he was.
Yeah.
Who he was connected with in India, actually. Like they were all the stories that he told me about his life. So there's no mistaking who that is for me anyway.
Yeah. So please accept unconditional love.
Oh, thank you so much, Paul. I
That's
didn't mean
right.
to take up so much time.
No.
I just kept getting that feeling, and I said, I'll just ask if there's something there. We'll pick it up.
Yeah.
But
If you're getting the feeling, it's because it's happening. It's definitely happening. I still keep getting this. There's another gentleman that's like a dad, and if this is a granddad, fine. But you've got so many people with you. I do. All right, it says it's on dad's side. I've got another. No, I'm gonna stop.
Well, my dad is there, so maybe it is him. So
Okay.
yeah.
Because as he was trying to come in, the way this felt like he wanted to be acknowledged. You'd understand that.
Yeah.
He would want to be acknowledged. Like, you've gone off on a tangent, Paul. Now acknowledge me.
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll acknowledge that. I think that's important.
Also,
sure.
do you understand the Christmas passing? There was somebody that passed around Christmas. Dad's telling me this.
Christmas.
Also, would you understand March the 23rd as well for a passing?
No.
It's giving me March the 23rd. That's past tense. That's not future. So don't panic. All right.
Okay.
Don't be crossing it off on the calendar. But he's giving me the passing in March the 23rd. It's not. Excuse me. It's not a birthday.
I'd have to double check that. I can't think of. Could be my aunt, but I thought she was February, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay, and I could be wrong because there's no, I could have got March. It's March 23rd rather than February. The other way around, I could have got it wrong. Do you know what I mean? I might have got the month day right. So there's no such thing as 100% mediumship. There's no such thing. So it comes through that subconscious mind, and that's the problem. And the other thing is what you got to be careful of. You don't put your own message on a message, if that makes sense. So that's very hard.
But sometimes we realize we get the answers a while after the reading.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, mate. Someone else has asked for advice.
Yes, Kaylee.
So you are, is it Kaylee, is it?
Yeah.
Kaylee, you're very spiritual, but there's a real mothering energy around you. Really, forgive me, I don't mean to be detrimental in any way, shape or form, but you've got amazing healing energy around you. Okay, I also find you to be very spiritual as well. The other thing is I'm picking up around you that you can be really hard on yourself, that you need to give up that, be, the Buddhist monks, they practice love and kindness. Maybe a little bit of that for yourself, but it's really, 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 really strong. There's a real strong mother's love around you at this moment in time. I don't know whether mum has passed on, but I just keep feeling this, and also from you, it's real. I don't know. I can't put it into words properly. That's the only way I can explain it. Ah, you're the mum friend. Okay, okay. It's very feminine. It's very, but spiritual. I can't find the right word. Sacred feminine is what I want to say about this. So being in that energy, I think you're kind of going into one unfolding, but I think a lot of people are going through this at the moment, and she's intuitive also. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I would say watch this space, because I think you're either gonna go down the mediumship route or very strongly going to healing. Now, healing, I always believe that healing is a higher aspect of mediumship. Mediumship is a part of healing, but the direct healing is more powerful, and I believe it's a lot more important than mediumship per se. That's my own personal opinion. So there's not enough healers in the world. Yeah, nice to meet you, Daniel. It's good to hear from you. He's got to go.
Yeah,
He's got to go.
Kaylee, you want to add something else to it? Because Kaylee is on the path of healing. She's starting her business. Okay, let me.
Okay, one thing I want to put around that as well, because I'm going. Can I do this? Can I have a little bit of fun? So I read auras, and I tune into people intuitively through aura reading. I can do a remote view. So as I look at you at this moment in time, you've got a really strong orange. Now, orange is about your power. There's a couple of things going on with your orange at the moment. Are you feeling one side you've got a lot of energy, on the other side you give and give and give, then pam, you need to take a break, sit down, relax, put your feet up. And sometimes that can last over a couple of days, not just, but then this power comes in because you've got this powerful orange coming in from the universe. To me, that for you, it's about creativity. The other thing I'm very aware of, you have the most beautiful sky blue around your throat center, but just to the left of that, you've got a little bit turquoise, which is you are very truthful and honest. You believe in truth and honesty as a fundamental principle of self. So if people are not being the same or don't match you in that respect, you struggle to be around those kind of people. The other thing I keep seeing, still there's, forgive me, I'm just going to say this, I hope you don't mind, there's a little bit of indecision around the heart. Yes, there's lots of issues with my throat chakra normally. Okay, I wouldn't worry too much about that. And generally the throat and the sacral chakra, especially for ladies, is quite important. I would say probably speak your truth a little bit more, which would help you. And sometimes as being when we are carers and healers, we tend to take on everyone's issues when we need to also don't forget ourselves in that. The other thing I'm becoming aware of is, what is that? I'm sorry, I'm just asking myself what's going on here, what I'm seeing. So yeah, awful lot of yellow coming and working on that for sure. Great. There's an awful lot of yellow coming in down one side. I don't like to ask questions, but it almost feels like you've got a lot on your mind, but you're tending to overthink it. Would you understand that? And I would say, because that does go into a beautiful, a lighter yellow. You're very intelligent. You can pay me later. It's okay. But I'm picking up you're very intelligent. I wish we can go live with it to get them in. Chronic overthinker. Absolutely. Absolutely. I shouldn't worry too much. I'm an overtalker, as you might well tell. Yeah. Yeah, the again, I wouldn't worry too much. The other thing is, you like to compartmentalize, looking at the colors around your head. You've got some deep dark blues, which you don't have a lot of it, but you have enough of it, which could sometimes give headaches. You can be quite analytical sometimes, but more to the point, I imagine you have a very tidy house as well. You have quite high deals for self and your own work and how you present to the world. So if I was looking for someone who is a healer or somebody that I wanted to work with, I would certainly look for that color, and you've got that around your head, quite a lot of it. The only thing is with that as well, it can sometimes give headaches, or even feeling with the deeper blues, the darker blues. It does go into the purple as well. There's quite a lot of purple around your head, so I'm not surprised if you're picking up messages from spirit too. I'm going to stop there because I'm just talking at you. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. I'm going to stop because I'm just keep talking away. Yeah, it feels like it's a point of madness when you're just talking to yourself, Ramzi. It's at that point. I've done lives before, and when you're waiting for people to catch up with your stream, it's about a 30-second delay.
Yeah.
And then you're saying something else, and they're saying yes to something else. Yeah.
I went back to check the dates there, Paul. So it was the 30th of March.
Oh, not the 23rd.
Yeah. But you were like, you had most of the numbers in there. So I had to just go back and check. I was trying to find the notes in my phone. So
yeah,
you definitely had them there.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, because you're going to kill me for doing this, and it's not an ego thing. I trust what I get from spirit. I've just been told again there is a 23rd. So can you check that? Now, I had this, the last time I had this, I was demonstrating at a church in Snettisham, and it was 2 years ago. I'll never forget this, because I was sitting there drinking my cup of tea after the service, and I said to this lady, I've got your, basically her uncle came through, and he said his birthday was 19th of June. Oh no, she said he was the 21st, but very close, she said. Well, oh, okay, fine. Carried on. And then I heard him say, no, it was the 19th. So what do you do with that? Do you think you're going crazy? What would you do? You're on a platform, right? I would personally go, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to argue. She said yes, that's happy with that. But I went, okay, do you know what? I'm just going to give it. And I said to her, well, I'm so sorry. He's telling me it was the 19th. No, 21st. When we was having tea afterwards, and I was sitting down with a nice cup of tea and a biscuit, she went, oh, my word. She said, I completely forgot. He used to argue and swear blind they got his birthday wrong on his birth certificate. He'd always say it was the 19th. But that took her about an hour to realize that.
Oh, wow.
So I've just heard for you that the 23rd is definitely
okay.
Okay. The other, see, they're still trying to come in and talk to me. Would you understand someone who eloped as well? They're talking about a young couple that married really quickly.
Yeah.
That talked about eloping.
I know a couple of people who did that. So yeah.
All I'm going to say, because all I'm hearing is love is love. Sometimes we don't always make the right choices.
Love is love. Is that definitely for me? I don't think that's for me.
No, it's not for you. It's someone around you. They're talking about that around you. There's somebody you would know, because I feel this is coming in from Dad, that love is love. And there's a joke in this, because I think the couple that rushed off to go and get married are not together anymore. Do you understand that?
I have to give that some more thought now. That's totally taken me by surprise. Are they still together? I don't know. I don't know the detail. There's about 3 different couples that came to mind. So I need to.
Well, your dad would know them as well, because he's talking about them. The other thing is, I know they were looking at either eloping or going to Gretna Green, that kind of thing, to get married. Okay, because he's talking about it.
I wonder, is that to do with themselves, with him?
Oh, okay. The other thing I wanted to say was, I know it's not yours because you're married, because you've already talked about your husband. If it's yours, we're in trouble. Okay. So you've either got a deep, dark secret or something else is going on here. Now, all joking apart, you do get to hear those secrets. Spirit will tell you. And again, it's how do you bring that up in the public domain? What would you do in that situation? And there's another whole conversation around that. Are you picking up psychically? But if you're
Yeah.
hearing it, how can it be psychic? If you
Well,
trust
yeah.
your connection, yeah. For example, I'll give you an example. A lady came to me. She was a very young lady, late 20s, early 30s. Came in, sat down, clearly a businesswoman. She can't help it. Someone pulls up in a fancy car. You see that, they come in. I only ever book by the first name. She came and sat down and she said, well, I've got nobody in the spirit world. She said, I just want a reading on my work life. I'm like, okay. And I was quite shocked because I had a gentleman standing by the door here who said he was her granddad. Oh, and she knows me. And then he said to me, but the only reason she's here is nothing to do with work, is the fact that she's having an affair. So I thought, do you know what? I was a bit naughty that day. I thought, I'm just going to say it. And her face was a picture. She went, yeah, it's true.
Oh, wow. But did she not know who the grandfather was?
Oh, she did. When I said,
Oh,
your
yeah.
dad's dad, because he said, I'm dad's dad. And she went, oh,
Okay.
yeah, I was about 3 when he passed. I said, well, he's been keeping an eye on you. That's all I'm saying. So,
my
and
God.
there's another, they don't judge us. They don't.
Yeah.
We live in a difficult reality. They're there to help and guide us. Now, I've never known spirit to say to people, you must do this and you're going to do that. I've heard mediums tell people, got to leave your husband, he's no good. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Everything is free will and love. So we've been going for ages, haven't we? I've just
I
realized.
know.
Yeah.
What is our timing? We're well over, are we?
I know.
We are well over the
Back
hour.
on, are you? You're never going to have me back on.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to
Wow.
have you back on. When she got married. Also
Oh,
curious.
Rita wants an aura reading. Rita, interesting. You've got a lot of love around you, Rita. Lots of different greens. You've got a very deep dark green around you. You've also got quite a light green, which to me, again, if I was on a dating site, Rita, I'd be quite happy with you, because that lovely light green is somebody that's quite level-headed. You're not your average psychopath, put it that way. Okay. Now, I shouldn't joke because I know the guy who taught me used to work for MI5. So they do profiling through the aura. So I know companies that employ people that will read people's auras to see if they make the right fit for a job or a certain type of job. So it's quite an interesting aspect. All joking aside, Rita, you do have some lovely greens. You've got a beautiful apple green. You're very well balanced. Do you know Rita, guys? Do you know Rita? You don't know
I
Rita?
don't know.
Okay. Well, Rita, I don't know who you are, where you're coming in from, but I love all the greens that I'm seeing. You've got quite a lot of yellow. I would say the yellow is quite a strong base color for you. The other thing is you're very energetic. You have a lot of energy. But with that, I sometimes believe with that yellow that you struggle to focus with that energy sometimes, and also struggle with a little bit of tiredness. We all get tired, of course, but that can be like, we can tend to overthink with that strong yellow. It's also quite, if you're academic as well, that would also show up in quite a lot of yellow, depending on the type of yellow I'm picking up on. That's interesting. I'm actually picking up someone from spirit with you, Rita. Now, I don't know if that's yours or somebody else's, but I've also got a young man in spirit that's coming around you. Oh, kind of want to hear her voice, really. Do you find that, guys, when you're working, when you hear someone's voice, it helps?
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I think it depends on the receptivity of the sitter, how clear, like the messages and the information has to land somewhere. So I've
You,
often found initially a sitter may not be very receptive, not saying anything, not giving any cues, or kind of unsure, and it's like the information just doesn't flow then, like
yeah.
and then often at the end of it, suddenly it all lands in, and they're like, oh, that was probably my sister, and it's like just a different timeline or something, or
And
wavelength.
it's also about how people expect what it's going to be like within the reading. You've got a lovely lady standing behind you. Why is everything coming to you tonight? Not Ramzi. Young man.
Young
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
Me? Behind me?
Yeah, I'll come back to that in a sec, because you've got a young lady, an old lady behind you. She's got a slight curl to her hair. She's got grey hair. She keeps going into her handbag to look for bits and pieces in her handbag, but she keeps tapping you on the shoulder. Are you feeling her around you?
Who are you? Is this
Yeah,
Ramsey? Yeah?
this is yours. No, this is yours.
Here?
Me?
You've got, I don't know what's going on, but do you work where you're sitting now? Do you work online doing readings there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of problems. Right, she's given me the name Peggy as well, that connects to her. She's also given me the name, I keep getting this Maureen or Maud, something like this. I keep getting.
Oh, Maud. Yeah. You see, these are they're members of my mum's family I never got to meet. But
Well,
that's it.
she's around you. The other thing is, I know she used to like to wear gloves. Okay, she was very much a proud person, but she keeps rooting through her handbag, because I know pretty much everything was in her handbag. Okay, and she had everything apart from the kitchen sink in her handbag. Because she comes in, she's still got a handbag under her arm. She keeps touching you on the top of the head like this. She's to do with me. She's mine. Okay, and she is lovely, lovely.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is, she keeps on going into a handbag. Now she's getting out a few pennies, and she keeps giving you a little bit of money. Okay. So I know
Okay.
she wants to give you a little bit of money. Okay. Now I'm asking her why she's doing that, but I actually feel like you've had a bit of money come down the line, whether that's through a legacy in terms of, like an item, a jewelry, but you've had a little bit of something coming down the family, because she's talking about it.
Oh
She
yeah, I
keeps.
suppose we would have from that family. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and ever so happy. Do you understand the small holding that she's on about as well? I'm going to
Yeah.
stop. As you should work with this other lady. So I'm going to go to this other lady. She's lovely. And she would. Do you remember them talking about her?
See, I never met them. I never
But
met those three ladies, but I know who you mean. They're three
so
sisters.
I've got to give you this, because I would like her as my nan. She's lovely. She's that
Yeah.
kind of lady. She's beautiful, strong-minded mind. I wouldn't like to upset her, because she'd be using that handbag. Okay. But it's that generation, clip you around the ear. That was that generation.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't know why she's saying this, but she said she lost a bus pass. So I've no idea why she's saying that. I think that's a point of evidence. Would you understand that? The other thing is, I feel like she might have had a little bit of Alzheimer's, because she's
Oh
giving me
wow.
confusion. Would you understand that? Because
Yeah.
she's now, I'm feeling her anxiety as well, which would have come with that.
Yeah.
Okay? I know I've got two here with me, but I can feel that anxiety of me for being forgetful. Okay. I know I've got a lovely. Oh, that's interesting. Do you understand the German man she's talking about?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Oh, it's all coming out. Anyway, I better move on to Rita. Let me give Rita's connection. Rita, I've got a lovely young man that comes in around you. I know he's moved through life with you, because he's talking about it. And I'm going to give you this, Rita. This young man that comes in is very handsome. Very, very handsome. The other thing is, I know you would have pictures of him smiling, because there's a great picture of him smiling I'm being shown. I'm showing this I'm not seeing him. I'm seeing him in a photograph. I also know, I don't know why I'm getting this. I feel he had really big hands. as well. Quite big hands as a brother. And the other thing is, typical brother, they would like to wind you up, but oh, he keeps telling me he was young when he went over though. My brother died when I was young. Yeah. Okay. Young man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave that with you, my lovely. Yeah, Rita, you're a lovely lady. I can really feel the green, and obviously it's associated with the heart. I really hope and wish you the best in the world, because we need more people like you, balanced and heart-centered. Lovely.
Nice.
My mum was pregnant when she got married. Also curious about auras. Yeah, auras are a beautiful thing. I think I did a podcast. I do a podcast. Can I give it a bit of a plug?
Yeah.
So I've got a little platform called Spiritual Talk TV. And we've interviewed many people from all over mediumship, from not just mediumship. I've got hopefully Josh Segal. He's quite well known in California, does numerology, another aspect of consciousness. Thank you. That's awesome. Spiritual Talk TV. Check it out, guys, because there's loads of information and it's all free. Like what you guys do on here. All this information is free. It's been of service, and I hope it helps you. Rita, God bless you is what I want to say to you. What a lovely lady you are. The other thing is, Rita, are you struggling with teeth problems? Because I'm seeing that in your aura, like either a jaw ache or teeth problem. If you've just lost a tooth, I'm so sorry, because they're so expensive these days, aren't they? But there's something going on with your jaw there. I'm seeing a color around your jaw. So when I see people that have had operations, I get like a brown patch.
Ah.
And so it's energy that was there, basically, or especially if you've had things taken out from inside. And I find that quite interesting. I haven't studied death so much, and I would like to study people that are terminally ill. Excuse me, I had onions on my pizza today, and it's really repeating me. I'm so sorry. But I'd like to study, because I know when we pass, the base, sacral, solar plexus, they all start to shut down, and the power comes up, which is why you'll go to hospital and see Granny being told that she's on her last legs, and you go into the room and she's up having a cup of tea and she seems okay, and then you go and get a cup of tea and she's passed over. And that's because that, I've seen people with Alzheimer's and dementia have that. Yes, TMJ. What does that mean, TMJ?
That means when they have a
here where it locks.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rita. Sometimes I don't want to be right in that case, you know. But that would affect the ear as well. But I'm seeing, I know it's all connected here, but I know that would affect the ear. I guess I'm gonna I do a bit of healing, so I'll put you in my healing book, Rita, okay, when I do my meditations in the morning.
Do you have any events coming up, Paul, that you'd like to promote?
Oh, I'm gonna get on my calendar. Hold on. The only thing on a national scale, I've got an evening coming up in September. Is it September? October. Oh, I should know, shouldn't I? I'm at the Trestle Theatre. They've just renamed it something else, which isn't helpful. On the 12th of October at St Albans, with a lovely, wonderful medium called Sandra Mitchell-Afritis, and she's an amazing medium, and I've really had the pleasure. I've managed to twist her arm to work with me, but I'm so honored because she's a lovely lady, hardworking medium, and I can't wait to work alongside her. So that one's coming up.
What city is that in? What location is that?
St Albans, near London, so it's not too far from London. I've just also recently created an events company called Soul Light Events, and we're looking to bring not just myself. It's not all about me. Our first evening was the Puppet Theatre in Norwich, where we had 3 international mediums demonstrate. So we're trying to bring quality mediumship to the public. That's my philosophy, to try and, I just think you can't have enough good mediums delivering messages. I just think it's healing, it's uplifting, and it helps us get through our, I'll just face it, it's not easy, is it? Life is hard at times, and when we lose our loved ones, it's just nice to have that little bit of healing, knowing they're with us. Especially that lady, she's still around you, by the way. She keeps tapping you on the shoulder. You tell her remember me, okay?
I'll have to sit in meditation and tune in myself. I will.
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
3 of them. I'm aware of 3 of them around you. I know Dad has come in, but Dad comes in from a different, whether he's trying to avoid these ladies, I don't know. But it kind of feels like it. Whether he's like, I'm just not going to get in their way, which is quite funny. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Well, yeah, like he wouldn't have known any of them anyway, because there was no contact there. But
you
then
you do know once they're over there, they know. And if he's been,
they do.
If he's been upsetting Mum, he's in big trouble.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Wow. Thanks a million, Paul. It's been such an enlightening, fun evening getting to know you, and I've really enjoyed it anyway. Thank you so much.
It's really important to laugh, and it's really important to connect to our heart, and that's the one thing that I realized when I was recovering from the tumor operation that I had. Gosh, that was 1997. My sister brought me a load of there was a London comedian who was totally inappropriate, but the healing and the laughter that I had from his videos, his DVDs, yeah, I was okay after 2 weeks. I was absolutely fine. Laughter and love, it raises your vibration, and spirit want that love. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, definitely we will want to have you again on the show. You've been a great hit.
Are you sure, mate? Because it's like we've been going 1 hour. I've been talking so much.
That's the beauty of it. We really enjoyed it. I love your energy. I love it so much. I wish I would get a chance to meet up with you in London when we are there.
Send us the dates, mate. Could do a trip to London. Send us the dates, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
How long as you're buying, though? Are you buying lunch?
I'm sure we could definitely step up for the lunch. He only has 1 pint, like, so it'll be grand.
That's true. That is true. I shouldn't have let that out of the bag, should I? Never mind.
Yeah, we're Spirit Cafe is traveling to the UK. We're going to a conference in Yorkshire in November, and then we're getting together in Devon, and then going to London. So we are around. So we'll definitely see, can we hook up?
Well, I've got an idea. So if you, we'll talk off air, but I've just had a little ping of an idea in my head. So Spirit will just put something in my head. So
we'll end the stream and have a chat then.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's been lovely. Thanks. I appreciate being invited on here. It's been absolutely lovely. I'm so sorry about the miscommunication yesterday.
It's not your fault. I blame it on the moon. It was a full moon, and it was my fault too. We'll definitely get together again on Open Mic UK. And for tonight, we thank everybody for joining us and all the questions. And thank you so much for being on. And looking forward to meeting up with you. Have a great evening. And for our listeners, we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Awesome.